camera is shaky. Let me just put that back. Hopefully my Wi-Fi behaves, because I'm in the back room and the Wi-Fi tends to not behave in this room. Well, I got the Wi-Fi off, so maybe I should turn the Wi-Fi on. Hi, Birdie. It's a pigeon right on the windowsill. Just all up in my business. All right. I just wanted to come on really quickly and go into a bit of a satsang. To anyone that doesn't know what a satsang is, it's just a union of truth when a group of individuals come together to rest in truth. That is what I'm calling for now, as I have entered a intentional week of silence. Not, I shouldn't say silence, but of quiet, getting away from social media, which is ironic because I'm on social media, but I just mean like the constant scrolling, reading, just always having my phone in my hand. So once I get done with this live, I'm gonna put my phone away for the day. It's 9:27 a.m. I woke up at 5 a.m. I meditated for 30 minutes. And then I got some work done. I did some writing. I got some work done. And I did some journaling outside. It was beautiful. And I just did some minor chores. I did everything I needed to do on my phone. So now when I finish this live, I'm going to put my phone away. I'm going to tuck it away in the drawer. And then I'm going to just be no TV, no music, nothing. And I'm going to spend 7 days here meditating twice a day, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, and no scrolling. The only thing I'll do is read, but I'm reading this book, I Am That, by Niza. I don't know how to say his name. Samaya's coming. I can hear her little feet. But I'm reading that book. I'm also reading Existential Truth. What's up? The food's ready already? Okay, I'll just have to heat it up. Thank you. Can you close the door? Or that's good. It's not gonna close all the way. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. So that's what I'm doing. Spending this week reading, journaling, being intentional about being. So I thought it would be nice to start off this week with a satsang. To just meet here in this truth of who we are. Just taking some inhales and exhales as I'm grounding myself into this moment. And yeah, really how I like to do satsangs is to, first I start off with a brief, whatever wants to come through me about what this is. And then I like to go into questions. So that's how we'll do this. Probably spend about 30 minutes, no more than that. This is my first time hosting a satsang live. So yeah, let's do it. So what wants to come through me? What wants to be said about this? Honestly, I've been finding it really hard to say anything. I think the best thing to do is to remain in silence, because I find that anything I say about this, oh, somebody said they don't see my live. That's interesting. I don't know why, but I'm live. But anything that I can say about this, it's like words don't do it justice, you know? It's like, oh, to say, or what I say about us, right? Because there is no I that's separate from we. But it's like, oh, everything. This is everything. I am the everything. You are the everything. There is no separation. The separate self is an illusion. These are simply just statements that I'm saying, you know, regurgitating. I don't think that's the right way to say it. But just repeating information that I heard. But if I were to go to the truth of what wants to be expressed, just be. Just be. Hi, wake up. That's what's coming out. Hi, Frankie. Just be. Just be. Don't try to be anything. Just be. Observe the one who wants to become something. When you observe the one who wants to become something, which simply means observing your thoughts, in that space, you'll connect with this truth. So just be. And it sounds passive to just be, but it actually requires a lot of energy and focus, because to just be means to keep your attention on the one that's aware of the experience and not necessarily what you're aware of. So to take your attention back from thoughts, perceptions, feelings, to take your attention back from the impermanence of the world and to keep your attention on that which never changes, that actually requires a lot of effort in the beginning. In the beginning, it requires a lot of effort, but then it becomes unconscious. And then you naturally start to turn your attention towards that which is never changing, the aspect of yourself which is never changing, the aspect of yourself that is aware of this video, that is aware of me, that you can feel and sense. You might not have words for it, but you know it's here. It's like there's a part of you that is beyond your sensations. That's the best way I can say it. Like there's just a part of you that is beyond that. And that part of you has always been with you. It is always present. It is present even in deep sleep. It is present in dreams. How do I know? Because who is there to watch your dreams? You, right? You, when somebody asks you, what did you dream about? You would say, I dreamt this. What is the I that you're referring to? Who was there to experience the dream? That part of you is always with you. It was with you when you were born. It observed the birth of you. It's this Zen koan. I always reference this, but it says, what was your face before your parents were born? Nice, nice. Yes, the beauty alchemist. Ponder on what I say. The satsangs are not for your mind to make sense out of what's being said. It's really an invitation to allow what's being said to be digested in time, not immediately. Some people have direct, like immediate insights into this, but most people, it takes some digesting. It takes some flowering, budding, right? The seeds, well, what I like to say is I just plant seeds, and as you go throughout your experience and you become more aware of the fact that you're aware, becoming aware of that you're aware, this begins to blossom. The truth of who you are, like this very subtle background becomes more it comes more to the forefront. So right now, what's in the forefront is like your experience, what's moving, what changes. That's in the forefront. Why? Because it's like it's always moving, and it's, you know, it's colorful and it's vibrant, right? It's our sensations. It really does call for our attention. But there's also an aspect of ourselves that's aware of this. We don't pay that much mind though, because it's like that's not important. It's ordinary. Why would I pay attention to that? It's boring, right? Also this week, being intentional with noticing the discomfort and boredom. But that's why this isn't given much attention, because it's not seen as valuable, but it's actually what's birthing your entire experience. Without this layer of yourself, which is the awareness, without awareness there is no experience. But we take that for granted because experience is so fascinating. It's so, it's just so many moving parts. So this is simply an invitation, like all my videos, an invitation to return to the part of yourself that is unmoved, unchanged, unfazed. It is not concerned with your problems. It doesn't even see your problems as problems. The only reason why you have problems is because you're naming them that, you're labeling them as so. But when you see that it's simply a thought, the problem, it vanishes, poofs in the wind. There's no problem. There's no longer a problem. There's only what is. And that's all this is pointing to, is the simplicity and bliss of what is. There is bliss. People long for bliss, right? Long for pleasure, long for fulfillment in things. But the reason why that's not functionable, why you should not place your happiness in things, is because it's going to change. That's the one thing you can count on in this life, is that it's going to change. Like, nothing is stable. Nothing is permanent. The only thing that's permanent is you. You're the only thing that's permanent. Everything else comes and goes. It comes and goes in your awareness. Yet you remain. The waking state comes and goes. Dreams come and go. Deep sleep comes and goes. People say, I don't remember deep sleep. Yes, you do. You do. You were there. You were aware. You were just aware of no thing. You know that space in between right when you go to sleep and right before you're about to have like a dream. There's nothing. But then you come back and you say, or if you say, I didn't dream anything. How do you know you didn't dream anything? It wasn't like, it was like you went to sleep in this realm and then a second later you woke up in this realm. You were asleep and then there was nothing. If you say you didn't dream, like if you don't remember your dreams, you were asleep and then it was nothing. And then you wake up and then you say, I didn't dream anything. How do you know? Because there was nothing. That's because you were aware of deep sleep. You were aware of the like the void. You were aware. That's why you're able to relay the information that there was nothing. There was still the light of awareness. It was there. That is you. You are eternal. You are not born. You do not die. You do not change. You are the changeless. Experience comes and goes within you. All experience. This is bliss. This is pleasure. This is happiness. This has no opposites. This is everything. This is what you actually crave. You crave to come back to this truth. But you seek for this truth in things, people, circumstances. Because what happens is that when you get a thing, when a circumstance changes, when you get in a relationship, the voice settles down. Or your attention is not so fixated on the voice of It's not enough. I need more. You know, it's just like whatever the story, the mind wants to give you for the day. But your attention is not so fixated on that. So then you attribute what's happening in reality to your peaceful state. When really all that happened is you just took your attention off of thoughts of lack, and then you just entered back into the state that you never left. You just took your attention off of lack, and then you just turned your attention back to what you have always been. This is always available for you. It's just training yourself to stop placing your attention on the thought of I don't have enough. Something needs to change. I'm in lack. I need more. I need this to change. Like that, those thoughts are why you suffer. The experience as it is pure bliss. It's like pure bliss. I like to say it's, who am I gonna offend? I don't want to, fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Like God making love to itself in the form of experience. Consciousness making love to itself. But I say God because I think God is what people can connect with the most when we're talking about the creator of it all, which is not separate from you. Hi. So that was what wanted to be expressed today. I will now answer questions. Or we can just sit in silence. I'm okay with that too. Yeah, it did make me uncomfortable to say, just because I know how the Western mind associates God with like this heavenly figure. Um, like it personifies God, the Western mind. So whenever I say things like that, in a way I feel like it makes me deeply uncomfortable. So, and I realize it's just because of the concepts that I have or that I had and that were indoctrinated into me. So to me, it's like saying things like that is blasphemous, you know? So that's why I'm like, oh, should I say it? And then I'm like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, yeah. It's just indoctrination. And the thing is that when this starts to burn all your concepts away, which is hella uncomfortable, this truth, a lot of those indoctrinations come up. And it just comes up just to be burned away, right? Just to be seen in the light of awareness as simply another concept, another idea that can't touch the truth of what this is. Oh my God. Yeah. It's you know, people do that because they're afraid. And having concepts, having something to call the opposite gives them comfort. So it's comfortable to know that like evil is by one man alone, right? The devil, Satan. That's comforting to know. It's uncomfortable when you recognize that there is no devil. Everything is just the psyche objectified in the form of experience. People don't want to hear that. Or they used to. I feel like the collective is starting to shift where there's a craving for this inner, deeper truth into reality. People are tired of being told who God is, and tired of being told that they are puny. People are recognizing that they're not these puny little beings, that they are something much more than they've been led to believe. But for so long, those stories of God and the devil and all this, it was like a cushion to the fact that things are just changing all the time, and that sometimes it's deeply uncomfortable, and that there's evil in the world, and we can point to someone to say this is why there's evil, because of Satan, because of the devil. And that's easier than saying this is why there's evil. Janae Aiko has this song. It's like, the world's a fucking mess, it's gone to shit, and I am every bit a part of it. I may have started it. And I love that. But that's hard to hear. It's hard to look into your world and see that it's gone to shit, and you're every bit a part of it, and you may have started it. Actually, you did start it. It started in here, you know. That line eats, right? That line fucking eats. Yeah, I love that song, Oblivion. I love that whole album. Like, man, the time where I was when that album came out, it was like, it was everything that I needed. I love Janae. I feel people don't want to believe that there's no man sitting up high judging, because that means bad people won't be punished. Exactly. Exactly. Because the whole idea of bad people being punished is still this operating in separation. Still thinking that there are bad people, and not just consciousness in its multi-dimensional form of bad people. That can be a tough pill to swallow, especially coming. Wow, my daughter is not happy. Especially coming out of separation consciousness, like to enter unity, bad people from the highest state, right? Because, and I always say this, like, it's not that I'm dismissing bad people. It's not that I'm acting like bad, like evil doesn't exist, but that is all from the relative. This, like Satsang, and I talk a lot about the relative. I do talk a lot about the relative, but I want to start coming on here and, maybe like once a week, because I want to go live twice a week. So once a week, coming on here and just doing a Satsang where I'm not talking about the relative. I'm talking about the absolute. And from the absolute, there is no separation. There are no others. There is no bad. There is no good. There's just what is. And to categorize it is to limit it. You cannot limit God, period. You cannot put God in a box. So when people say God and the devil and good and bad and all this other stuff, they are literally like sinning. They are, making an image out of God by putting it in a box and saying that it's separate from. Because how is God omnipresent and omnipotent and like knows everything and is everywhere, but it is absolutely not the devil? It's not the devil, even though it created the devil. But because like I watch so many debates with Christians and like non-believers, and they'll say, and people always bring that up. They always bring up, how is it that God is like omnipresent and God knows everything, and He created the devil? And they'll say, because God gave us free will. And because, like, that's always an argument. Because God loves us so much that He gave us free will to do what we please. But you're still ignoring the fact that if God knows everything before it happens, then God knew what we were going to do before it happened. So that whole idea of free will then gets out the window. God gave us free will, but he still knows what's going to happen. So, yeah, that whole idea of free will just, it doesn't, it cannot sit in the same sentence as omnipotent, omnipresent. God wrote it all. Like God wrote it all before you even came into form. But then you're getting upset at people for things that they do Because you're like, but then God also gave us will. That doesn't, it can't exist. It cannot, I mean, it can exist, but not in the way that they're describing it. So, because I believe that we do have will, it's just not in a way that we've been conditioned to think about free will. I think we have, where I feel like choice comes in is like choice of perspective, choice of like where we're placing our focus and our attention. But what happens is it's gonna happen. And a little bit even more nuanced than that, I feel like because we live in a multi-dimensional reality, right? Because it's all infinite, and what we see is just simply a projection of what's going on within, then there's so many realities we can be on. And in that, and Neville Goddard talks about this too. Neville says that what we can choose what reality we're gonna go on. But when we place our awareness into a reality, it's already wrote, like it's already written, which is why the thing that you desire, like let's go more to the relative, right? We're gonna exit the absolute for a bit, go into the relative. The thing that you desire, there's a reality and there's a version of you that's already experiencing it. Like it's already set up. Like you don't have to go out and create it. It's just simply about aligning with it because it's already done. It's done, it's done, it's done, it's done. The reality that you want, everything that you want, there's a version of you that's experiencing that. It's just about placing your attention in that reality. That's where your will comes in. But in that reality, the events and it's already ordained in a way. Right? So that's to me where the nuance comes in, where like God wrote it all. God already knows what's gonna happen, but then we have will. We have will to choose in the multidimensionality of it all. Where do we want to go? What do we want to experience? And even that, in some non-dual traditions, they kind of shine away from that as another road to suffering. But I don't mind the intense feelings that comes from choice, because with choice you will forget yourself. That's just the price that you pay. You pay for like playing the game of being a separate individual, making choices. You pay by forgetting your true essence. But you can like what Jesus would say, be in the world but and not of the world. It's a way to do it. It's just a skill. It's like telling your child to go explore and then telling them don't touch this. They're gonna touch it all. Exactly. Oh, don't I know it? I have a 15-month-old. To anyone that doesn't know, and the things that we tell her absolutely not to touch. Don't go there. You should not do this. That's what she wants the most. It's that curiosity of why not. Like it must be good if you're telling me I can't. Like so I'm gonna do it because it must be good. And that's the same thing with us. Like our origin story according to Christian um, history. It's like don't eat the apple. Why not? Because you're if you eat the apple, you're gonna be separate from God and you're gonna be in hell. And that's all hell is. Hell is just separation from God. Oh, another Janae line when she says, hell is not a place, hell is not a certain evil, hell is other people, or the lack thereof, and their lack of love. And how I interpret that line is like hell is other people, which just means that like not even that hell is like because people are bad, but hell is just separation. Hell is not a place. Hell is other people, which means it's just this idea that I'm separate from the all. So in a way, this would be considered hell if we are deeply in the trenches of separation. If we really believe that we are not what we see, that is hell. And that's why people do everything they can, right? They want to manifest, consciously create, have desires. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with desires. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. But it can mislead you if you're thinking that getting the thing is going to give you this sense of wholeness, this wholeness that you already have. I think that's God's plans. I think that God's plan and free will coexist. I think it's a paradox from our own limited perspective, but instead we can see them as two realities that exist and overlap. God knows the choices we will make, but his knowledge wasn't made to force us. That's actually a beautiful way of saying that, actually. I agree. I feel like they exist and they also overlap. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where the absolute comes in, right? Being in the absolute is being able to hold the ideas that are very polarizing and seeing that in the absolute they aren't polarizing. It's absolute to our mind because we think in very binary terms, right? We think up, down, left, right, in, out, backwards, forwards. And Islam is seen as a relationship rather than a paradox. Okay. That's actually beautiful. Okay, I like that. I think because I think to God it's not paradoxical. Again, I think to the limited conscious mind it's paradoxical. Because it's like how can it be this and that? You know, it's like it's either this or that. It's either up or down. It can't be up and down. Like that doesn't make any sense. It can't be in and out. It's either in or it's out. You're either here or you're there. You can't be here and there at the same time. That's how our mind conceptualizes reality because it breaks it down into like linear time and space. I won't go there. But to the all, of course it's this and that and up and down and left and right. And you can be here and there and everywhere, everything all at once. And it doesn't confuse, like it's not confusion to the all. It's just what is. It's doing it now. It's playing the role of me and you and it's playing the role of wipes and diapers and this is the all appearing as the everything and there's no confusion in that. Sartre, I don't know how to say that name, said hell is other people. Okay, so that's where Janae got it from. But I don't think he was experiencing that from a deep place of separateness and suffering. Mm. What do you think he was experiencing? You know what I'm trying to say. Where do you think that came from? That hell is other people. Because that's where I go to. I go to hell is this idea that I'm separate from everyone else. Because to believe that I'm separate from everyone else, it brings about a lot of fear. Because it's like I have to protect myself, right? It's always this trying to protect something. And it just creates a lot of fear to believe that I am not my environment. To believe that I am separate from my environment. It's just, that creates the hell. Because now I'm always thinking about, you know, what are the motives? What are people trying to do to me? Or you know, what are the powers that be? What are they up to? And you know, it's just always this dialogue of trying to protect a self that actually doesn't exist. We're staying absolute. A self that doesn't exist. A self that is nothing but a bunch of beliefs, concepts. But we can never find this self. We never can find it. I've tried. I've tried for years to find this self, to find Taylor. Like, where is Taylor? Outside of my thoughts, where is Taylor? And every single time I meet a dead end. The only thing I know for sure is that I'm aware. That's all I know. Well, what I'm aware of, it changes all the time. But I know that I'm aware. And before I know anything else, I'm aware. I have to be aware in order to even know. So that's the one thing I can count on. The idea of Taylor, it changes with the wind. Ask my boyfriend. It changes with the wind. My interests, my beliefs, my desires, how I look, how I feel. So these things can't possibly be me. My name, my age, my occupation, even my race. My race changes based on who you ask. I'm not black. I'm not African American. Those are labels. I cannot find those labels anywhere other than my mind. So what's beyond the mind? Awareness. That's the one thing we can count on. So I always tell, just if you're gonna bet on anything in this life, if you're gonna go after anything, right? Nothing will beat knowing the truth of who you are. Nothing. So when you say hell is other people, do you believe it's their consciousness? I don't think to say it's their consciousness separates them from me. From the absolute, there is no their consciousness. There's only consciousness. Appearing as mine and yours and theirs, but that's an appearance from the absolute. So hell is coming into the relative and taking the identity of being the separate self so serious that like this is actually who we, like I am this body and like my thoughts that's my voice. And it's like, no, it's simply consciousness expressing. It doesn't belong to anybody or anything. It's just what is. The mind will not accept this. Don't try to understand it. It won't make sense. I'm telling you, it will never make sense to the mind. This does not make sense to the mind. This goes beyond the mind. If you try to, like, I've tried to make sense out of this. I've tried for years and years and years. I'm like, okay, but if I'm like going to science for it, and science gets really close, like, and there's also this saying, it's like a finger pointing to the moon, it's not the moon. So like all these pointers are not it. So like these are all beautiful pointers, like what science talks about with quantum physics, theoretical physics, right? These are amazing pointers. Even spirituality, like we are everything. It's all one. There's only one consciousness. These are amazing pointers. But what is it pointing to? We have to figure out what is it pointing to, because people go through their whole life in the loop of being so intellectual about it, being so intellectual about the fact that we are one and there is no separation. Never being able, I mean, they do touch it because they're never separate from it, but never softening enough, never releasing the separate identity enough to allow the light of consciousness to shine and permeate every aspect of their life. Even though it's already happened. Like, it's already happening, which is the crazy part. It's already happening. It's just this idea, this thought of, but this surely cannot be it. Like, this surely cannot be enlightenment. Like, this cannot be it, you know? The mind doesn't want to accept it because it's creating this story, right? And of course it's creating a story because the egoic mind lives in time. There's nothing wrong with ego. There's nothing wrong with ego. But it lives in time. So of course it's going to convince you that enlightenment is in the future. That like what you want, it's in the future. And it's going to look like this. And it's coming. It's coming. It really wants to convince you of that because that's how it survives. It cannot survive in the present moment because the ego is not needed in the present moment. It's needed to talk about a past and to talk about a future. But here, just being with us, it's not needed. Once we realize we are all Moors, world peace will be achieved. Oh my God. You are very silly, Frankie. But yes, I've always believed that as well. I never connected with the slavery background. Like, I understand it happened, but I always felt bad for not feeling bad about slavery. Yeah, I would say that's me with a lot of political things in the world. Well, for a long time, I went the complete opposite way. And I'm like, well, I'm nothing and I'm no one. So none of this matters. but there was still like a sense of suffering. Hi, Samaya. Here. Here. Hi, Samaya. I'm about to get off. I'm hungry. Did she poop? Oh. I'll see you later, okay? Did she eat? Mm-hmm. You took give it to me, give it to me. She does not want to go. You wanted to be with mommy. You miss me. Say hi. Shamaya gives the best hugs. You give the best hugs, baby. I don't even know what I was saying. But, oh, yeah. So, like, the whole political stuff, I feel like I get a lot of, or I went the complete opposite where I was like, I don't care about any of the politics, or I don't care about what's happening in the world because, you know, it's not important. Or not even that it's not important, but I'm like, well, I'm nothing and no one. But I was saying that from like such a conceptual place. So, and now I just see that there's no problems. There really are no problems. She does not have rat tails. I was starting to like do individual braids, but we did not get very far. She did not want to sit still, so I'm going to have to do her hair when she sleeps today. Yeah, because her hair, it just looks crazy all the time. Yeah. So I got to figure out what to do with it. Don't scratch me. You want to be the star today? Are you the star? Are you the star? Yeah. So, oh, whew, girl, her hair is a tangled mess right now. It needs to, I'm gonna put it in some braids because it tangles so bad. Like, and then I usually like detangle it when I do her wash days. But it's like last time, what was that, Wednesday I did it, and it was not a good time. Yeah, baby. You need your diaper change, huh? Yeah. You want your diaper change? Okay, mommy's gonna go in a bit. So yeah, I'll just end with that. There's nothing wrong with, oh yeah, beauty. Beauty alchemist. There's nothing wrong with not feeling bad about it. There's this deeper truth that can be unsettling to most, but you are not most. So just stay with your truth of who you are as the consciousness, as the one. I invite all of you to just watch your thoughts. Watch that your thoughts are the only thing that's separating your experience. The fact that you think I'm separate from you is not the truth. The first layer of this is like seeing through the thoughts, and then a second layer of this is like where a lot of our beliefs live is in the body. The body takes years to decondition. Like, it takes a really long time to decondition the body, because even if you can see through the thoughts that you are not your thoughts, and like you are not separate from your experience, and like you can see that very clearly, there's this felt sensation of like being localized here. Like, all of your feelings, they feel like yours, and then the mind comes along and claims them as yours. So that's what takes the longest to decondition. But that's why I like to go into nervous system like expansion, and then also going into like using creativity. Creativity is a way to help with this process as well. So that's why I love talking about creativity. I love talking about nervous system expansion and self-inquiry, because all of these go hand in hand when it comes to remembering the truth of who you are. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm about to put my phone away for the day. I'm about to just be with the little one. Today's day one. I'll update you guys in a bit about how this process is going. Oh no, I still have to record a video later, so I'm still going to be recording and stuff. I'm just not going to be online, like scrolling and watching and stuff. I'm just going to be like posting, responding to comments, and then getting gone. Like, I have no desire to just be on social media. So that's what I'm doing for today. But I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much, Beauty Alchemist. I hope you have a great day as well. And I'll talk to you guys